Well, hello. Today I came to talk about the reason that countries, some countries that suddenly became deserts. And I'm gonna, for example, some countries like the sub-African countries and some parts of Australia, some South American countries like Chile, and some part of the USA, as well. But that is like usual, it's just a thesis like usual. It's just like I said, it's just a thesis that I conclude throughout my research about deserts of all around the world. And that led me to a question, which is, did human being caused this climate change or this desertation? Or did this changes, this desertation came naturally as a reaction of, of nature, etc. Anyway, and like usual, I'm not gonna go throughout the detail of my research. I'm gonna share with you just I'm gonna try to share. I'm gonna try to resume this research for the listeners, and the viewers as well. By the way, big shout out to the viewers, and they more than welcome to argue my thesis. Anyway, throughout visiting deserts, which I conclude this research, I realized that there is one common thing in all these deserts, and this common thing is, in the desert, they all have some animal species that they were extinguished. And when, some species that they were in that area and they were extinguished. And when I did my research about the influence of animals in the balance of the ecosystem, that fight desertation and stuff. I was amazed, of that research. I mean that, meaning that the extinguishment of any animal race could lead to a desertation in the area. Even if the area is rich in the water, if Lamap Phreatic is rich in the water. And that is what happened in a case. I'm going to tell you for one case of study of the sub-African countries, Saharan desert. In that case study, where the research conclude that there were some animal races that disappeared, and for that, for that use of this animal, that animal disappeared for the use of the body of the animal. They used to capture them to, for the use of the body, for the health benefit, or for the clothing, or for fear. in grosso modo, how do you say it? Meaning man negligence of animal care, and that's what led to that basically. And for example, I'm gonna give an example if that happened. For example, here in this country, or anyway, let's talk about Europe. For example, in Europe, if they had to extinguish sheeps, the Europe will turn to a desert. And but what saved this country, or what saved the countries that are not the third world countries, or the developed countries, what saved them of desertation was the man care for animal, and the preservation of the race. So that preserved the country of, you know, with water and, you know, life and stuff. So the conclusion of my thesis, that's the conclusion of my thesis. I'm going to try to be short because my video is getting too long now. So the conclusion of my thesis is that man is responsible for desertation of this earth, for the negligence of the animal life, you know, that led to the extinguishment of some animal race, and that's what led to desertation. And we have to exclude the animal race that was extinguished by, you know, a big force by God, for humanity safety, you know, like dinosaurs and stuff. Because if we had to live with this species, we will be in danger. And we could see more desertation in the future of countries that neglect animal, you know, life and stuff and well-being. Anyway, the video came to the end, and thank you for listening, and thank you for your time, and you have a nice day.